So let me tell you something about Pearl. I just love her. I saw her at several different readings for something in Nassau, but one or both of the Nassau organizations, and there was such a classiness about her, and such a vibrancy, and such a love about her, and um, I just couldn't wait to get her here, and I'm so thrilled. So that's what I think of Pearl. I loved her poems. And I'm going to tell you some grown-up stuff about her. Not really grown-up stuff, just a little. Okay, so Pearl Ketover Prilik is a poet, writer, and psychoanalyst in private practice. Her earliest adulthood was spent living and teaching in St. Croix and St. Thomas, which are still home to her heart. Dr. Pearl, or PKP as she is familiarly known, has had 3 nonfiction books published: Stepmothering, A Different Kind of Love, The Art of Stepmothering, Becoming an Adult Stepchild, was editor of the Adelphi Postdoc Society for Psychoanalysis and Psychotherapy newsletter, and editor-contributor of 2 international poetry anthologies, Prompted, an international collection of poems, and Beyond the Dark Room, an international collection of transformative poetry. She has authored several poetry collections of her own and been delighted to see her poetry and fiction appear in a wide variety of journals and collections, including 4 and 20, World of Myth, Indigo Rising, Burning Word, Haiku Journal, Scissors and Spackle, I like that, Tuck Magazine, Poetry Quarterly, Bard's Annual, and Nassau County Poet Laureate Anthologies twice, as an honorable mention awardee, and in 2024 as a second placer. In 2025, she became a member of the club no one asked to join, and is enormously grateful for positive outcomes. During this time, she was ironically awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award by Arts in Partnership. Dr. Pearl, as she is familiarly known, is a regular contributor to the Open Mic of Shore Poets in Long Beach, and proud forward writer of the anthology poetry It's a Shore Thing. It's in an Unsure World, an anthology of micro-memoirs from the South Shore poets of Long Island. Say that 3 times fast. I don't think so. PKP is a longtime local resident of the barrier island of Lido Beach. Lido? Okay. Where she lives close enough to the water she loves with her husband, DJ Ira Prilik. I'm guessing he's not a DJ. I can't help myself. And her humanoid cat, Oliver. PKP is moved by a strong belief that poetry more closely approximates the multi-layered diaphanous experience of internal thought and the way the mind processes the world in which all live alongside the narratives that one creates from lived experience. You can read more of her work and background on her site, Imagine. The lovely and talented Dr. Pearl.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Pearl.
Hi. It's so strange that you're seeing me, but I'm not seeing you. Okay. All right. Well, I have a whole mix of things, so I guess I'll just leap right in and start. So the first is really credit to Walt Whitman. I sing the song of my father. I sing the song of my father, every particle of my being today infused with him, as though he stands beside me and is never left, though he did vanish one hot August morning, sunlight burning through white coverlets, though I felt his heart beat 3 times, once, twice, thrice under my palm, and then stop. He did not die. I sing the song of my father who left with black hair, glinted with silver in his 60th year, slipped from any coil, mortal or otherwise, but for the coil that holds my heart, pounding my soul still. I sing the song of my father. He turned my head to the first cloud in my first sky, to the wind in the shimmer of sun-filigreed leaves, to the sea rippling as he drifted sand through fingers, and we sat together, watching a tiny flag on the top of a curlicue castle tilt and fall into the onrushing tide. I sing the song of my father in the eyes of all who work hard and deserve respect, and those who cannot find work through limitation or exclusion, in the wonder of all that sprang natural and all that rose from the mind of men and women. I sing the song of my father, who turned my face to cobalt and burnt sienna, the shock of turpentine on a clear morning, a blank canvas holding all possibility. I sing the song of my father in the crabs that poked from the mud on the day on the pier while he painted, and the sun began to slip below, gilding all in that silent, sacred place to which he granted me entrance. I sing the song of my father to sunburnt ribs that rippled under young flesh, to his ebony hair, to the taste of salt on that young flesh as he carried me far out into the sea. I sing the song of my father to that crinkle-nosed secret smile he passed to my mother as they sang from song sheets, to his eyes closed in ecstasy as music shook the walls around, and I peeked from my own encouraged experience to see a tear trailing at crescendo. I sing the song of my father as I feel his hand in mine, strong, ever present, singing in the shimmer of leaves in a willow rustling in chestnut blossoms, soaring on the velvet tip of a blue jay on a clear day, returning call for call. I sing the song of my father as he stood watching my ride on a carousel, light slanting through high windows, calliope playing, waiting for me with open arms to jump. I jump. I sing the song of my father holding my newborn son in aquamarine waters, high above his head, diamond droplets falling about them, falling on them. I sing the song of my father, coffee cups before us, words flying as red cardinals soaring from above, between, above. Again, I sing the song of my father. I sing in memory, in reflection, in honor, in dedication, and in love. I feel his presence in the air that brushes my cheek, in every particle of my being. And though I thought it a wonder that he left when his hair was mostly black and his back straight, when he could bend and rise from the earth of his garden, hands rich with fragrant loam, left still young enough. I see him now, hair white, the slightest stoop as he stands, shining in the blaze of sun, beams shooting dancing rays, for it is from his lips I sing his song forever with the life he lent to me. And that's that.
And that one was very good.
I never get a chance to read that because it's a bit long. Okay, and now something a little different, a little rhymey. And it was also the title of a chapbook that I put together. It's called Gobsmacked. When day might turn to night and night might turn to day, and people stop talking to you, and why, they won't say. When the ice caps are melting and some say nothing is wrong, and the bees they are leaving and the frogs stop their song. When politics turn misanthropic, a mass, mad, mobby joke, and those who should speak forget how they once spoke. When you wake in the morning with a shudder and chill, and the future seems dark and dim and filled with ill will. When shots ring in classrooms and children fall dead, and elders are quiet, while youngsters spill wisdom instead. When day might turn to night, and night might turn to day, and you speak, think, and write, and don't know what to say. When your heart pounds bloody, and fingers turn icy and cold, and you try to be fierce, strong, stand up and be ever so bold. When the world starts to shrink, and toddlers die at the shore. When more weapons murder innocence, not less, but still more. When eyes look for footing and guidance in hurricane gales, and find instead tossed bombastic operatic paper towel tales. When it seems like you're standing in a snow globe of fizz, and the very air that you breathe is thrumming with fizz. When sense flies out of touch, and nothing seems real, and divisions are toxic, and conversations surreal. When all that you knew seems now up for debate, and too much around you spews spilled out with hate. When you want to get going but can't get to the gate. When day might turn to night and night might turn to day. As global shards of pain sidewise whirl destruction's disarray. When oceans rise and mountains fall, and injustice and wrongs far too many to articulate them all. When you see time running out, hopefulness each day attacked, then my friend, then you know you are being gobsmacked. Here's just something that's just different and sweet. It's called The Ketchup Wars, from a time past. Whooping warriors of bloodless pretend wars, we ran, mugging fierce faces at each other as we fell, graceless as bowling pins in faked suffering. The kind seen in the silence of marble-chilled cinemas, the kind of ketchup killing, where rugged men rode ranges of firing rifles, stuffed with celluloid splendor of grace, and always, always lived to ride home with clean hands to some sweet lady holding her hair off her face and their cows safe in the fence she had fixed.
I think I've seen every movie that was in.
Summer people.
Submit.
He was coatless as a boy should be, cutting slices through the summer air, thinking of games until finally his sneakers touched their walk and he ran to the front door at the end of the road, side stitching, breath in happy panting, already feeling the touch of Emily. Her family would be in the kitchen as they were every summer, a pitcher of cold lemonade with actual slices of lemon floating, sugar crystals rimming the lip, and he would say hi, and the summer would begin. But it was all wrong. Anyone could see it. The path weedy, the daylilies dead, the flag not flapping on the rusty pole over the door. The house sagged with that empty feel that unbodied places get. He slumped for a long while against the kitchen door, picking at the flaking paint. Sun sank, his mother would have dinner on the table and be looking out the window for him, as vocabulary words tumbled, incredibly, apparently, evidently, inexplicably. They were not coming. There was no envelope Natalie fixed to the door with an explanation, and never would there be. They were summer people, after all, their lives as far-flung, twinkling as stars, seemingly set forever, only to flicker, flash, and without warning, slice across the sky, burning bright and out and irrevocably over. Bye, summer people. This is one I really like. I don't know why, but I just do. Girls in plum sweaters. What can girls in plum sweaters be expected to know of loss? As they pass the shovel among friends, unorated letters on pretty stationery drift in the wind as earth hard hits the coffin. Inside, sweated, pruning friend on white satin. Outside, they, fresh as dropped stitches from a single skein of yarn. Knitting a forever whole, girls in plum sweaters, dirt under fingernails, cold wind in their fresh washed hair. And we're getting shorter. I had a little haiku that was in Haiku Journal some years ago. Cat on windowsill, folding boneless in sunlight, origami breathes. Okay, I'll do the one that you like. The inevitable creep of the tide. There on the shore, my father and I, sea breeze blown, he tanned and black-haired, waiting at a sanded mound. I ferrying Fantasia's beach buckets of seawater. He drizzled into magical being a castle, 3/4 tall as I. All afternoon we worked, sun lowering in the sky, people walking by, stopping to look, to smile, a trio of tow-headed siblings watching, thumbs in mouths, dumbfounded until they called away. Finally, sand, golden sun setting. He drizzled wet sand through his hands, squeezing a draped doorway into life. a small fuchsia flag posted and waving in the salty air. I watched my father, my castle, and the sudden, unnoticeable, inexorable creep of the tide, lapping at its sides. Leaned against him, inhaling cigarettes, copper-toned salt, a touch of turpentine. We bought creamsicles from the man who came around one last time, lugging a huge steel cooler. And then we were alone, in the glow of orange light, the sweet, tangy taste of citrus and cream on my lips as the gentle tide turned, rose and pushed waves closer, inch by inch, until in a sudden lurch of powerful spray, all that remained of my castle was a tiny fuchsia flag, floating out to sea. My father's arms stayed solid around my shoulders as we sat warm in the chill of bittersweet inevitability. When people like it. Okay, take this. Take this fear from me, this nausea, these icy fingertips. Take this worry of glaciers melting, swollen belly children, staring do-nothingers, rising tides and lowered expectations. Take this disgust from me at lies, bold-faced, insidious, divisive, insulting. Take this insecurity from me as offspring groan, withdraw, and bare teeth and indifference incomprehensible. Take this soul-chilled storehouse of historical horror, bodies floating from falling buildings, children torn in schoolhouses, prayerful people slaughtered, shoppers, partygoers, sleepers in their beds, drivers in their cars, walkers in the streets, toddlers drowned at shoreline, migrants housed in cages, children ripped from mothers, on and on, barbed wire and crematorium smoke wafted from past into pollution's noxious presence, slavery, butchery, forests decimated, a lone child's cry growing faint under rock, on and on and on, we all know. Take the spittle of hatred, the vicious glint of eyes, the indifference of one another, the righteous unrighteousness, the replacement of facts with opinion, the instability, the cracks widening, the smashed sanctuaries. Take the knowing that I am more old than young, and growing older still, on the known path to the unknown, working at the glorious, inglorious oxymoron of trying to find peace of mind. Take this, no, return each and every, take nothing, leave all mentioned and all implied, for in the convergence is the essence of caring, and I shall not cede, I shall not ever cede to care. For those who may not know Horton Hears a Who, this sort of came from Horton Hears a Who, which was basically a nice little children's book that talked about little people and caring for them and so on and so forth. So, long ago lived the small me, big-eyed and quite serious. Some said an old soul, a little mysterious, questioning rabbis, teachers, father and mother, questions about God and country, and why some people did what they did to each other. Up late at night, watching dark curtains sway, unable to sleep or even to pray. Even grandparents and elders never knew what to say. When I simply asked them why, some people treated others in a horrible way. I'd seen pictures of piles of children's ripped away shoes. Was more than enough to give a small child the blues. I continued to ask all I could find. The strangest thing was that most grown-ups did very much mind. Did mind that I knew and questioned about things not so cheery. They looked back at my big eyes awaiting, with looks that were, well, yes, I'd say leery. Leery of what, I wondered. I wondered about that too, for I only wanted to know what. What could I possibly do? But they shied away from my questions, told me to go out and play, when all along I knew they did not know what to say. And there were other things too, not just this old war stuff from back then. The way some people were treated, it looked like it could start up again. I stopped asking so much and read more. Even found Uncle's book on a Dr. Sigmund when I opened his door. But it wasn't until I found a big picture book by another doctor, stopped with a gulp as I took in a big look. For there, of all places, in this children's book, there it was. No, not the answer for don't, but the guideline for does. Right there in sweet rhymes, an elephantine wail of a tale of how to set all right going forward, out there into our future times. It was a tale of morality, persistence, and kind, a tale of empathy, passion, courage, and so very much more. A tale of standing up for what one believes one must stand up and fight for. Right there, finally, in those words was the validation I sought. That view of the world as I thought it could be ought. The ache that I felt could vanish if all just accepted and lived the sweet credo that a person's a person, no matter how small. That's that. Ta-da. All right. This is called Little Lights. It's a little lighter. Sleepover at my grandmother's as a tiny child. She had a green wooden back porch and rickety stairs that creaked down to a yard that to my 4-year-old self was football-sized. Hydrangeas, those snowball bushes, bursted blooms big as basketballs. And that hot summer night, given a mason jar, she told me about fireflies. They sounded magical. I could not wait, even before sunset and after my bath, dressed only in one of her satin slips, straps sliding, skirt slippery, swirling around my ankles. I tiptoed barefoot down the stairs and waited. The jar grew heavy and heavier as the sun still held in the sky. Not sure when my eyes closed, but when they opened, it was dark, and I was on my grandmother's lap. "Look," said she, and in the navy night the air flickered, flashed as though fairies dipped and danced, peeking in and out of the darkness. I was enchanted. Slid from her lap, mason jar bumped to the grass. I did not wish to catch, only to whirl with, and I turned in circles in the dark. Fireflies on fingers, in my hair. I was invincible, blessed, immortal, mystic, metamorphosized, a princess in the living diamonds, scattered shimmers through that night. I never knew that one needed dark to see the light until then, on that firefly night. And in our dark and troubled nights, we are the fireflies now. Thank you so very, very much. Really appreciate it so much.